welcome to A Face from the Crowd. Our guest today is a spectacular woman, an intellectual who has an undying thirst for knowledge. She is working as an associate professor and head of the department in DKM College, Vellore. She has presented many papers at various seminars and conferences. She has also contributed to a few books, the details of which will be given in the description box below. In spite of being so knowledgeable and in spite of achieving so much, Dr. Padmaja Veeraraghavan is a simple, down-to-earth person who strongly believes in family values, who believes in spirituality.
I'm more happy when I chant a mantra, I do some puja.
Who stands for education for women.
Actually, there is a dynamic change in the working environment, and we can see there's lots of stories and great entrepreneurs who are women for us, and we can take a lesson from them. Women can achieve any extremes, but to what extent they have to define by themselves.
I am very proud to welcome Dr. Padmaja Veeraraghavan on A Face from the Crowd. It's a pleasure to talk to her. Dr. Padmaja, very warm welcome to A Face from the Crowd. I'm very glad to have you here on the show.
I'm also very glad and good evening to one and all. So actually I have to thank the organizers and the team, whoever decided back of it, who was giving me and such an opportunity to express some of my views.
Wonderful. Actually, what you have done is really amazing. In fact, you have done your PhD and I guess in stress management. We would like to discuss a lot of things, but before that, I would like to know about a little about your childhood, how you were brought up, a little about yourself for the viewers to understand more about you.
My father was working in a heavy vehicles factory, Avadi. I have two brothers, and as I to tell about my family, my husband, M.G. Veeraraghavan, advocate at Madras High Court, and my daughter, M.G. Bhargavi. She has done her homeopathy medicine, and she has been married 1 year back, and now she is with her in-laws. And with regard to my education, I have to tell that I was born and brought up at Chennai. So after we studied there, we all jumped to different courses. Where my brothers went to engineering side, and I came to the commerce stream. So it was a choice of my father because of a small health problem which I had in my young age. So I was blessed, because I was actually facing a problem of juvenile diabetic. So actually, since my age was very young, I had to depend on insulin. So my parents felt commerce would be a better opportunity for her, and it gives a better scope because of her health problems. And that was the main reason why my education came into commerce, and really I enjoyed studying commerce to such an extent that I thought of doing the last degree whichever is possible in commerce, and I did it, and it is PhD. After my marriage only I completed my MPhil, and after 8 years of marriage only, nearly when my daughter was in 9th standard, I started my PhD. Before that I entered into government organization, that is DKM College for Women, Vellore. So since I was placed there with my net qualification, we call it as eligibility for lecturership. So I was very successful in doing that, and I entered into government job aided college, it is at Vellore. So I went into career development scheme through UGC, and then I came down to Chennai at Madras University, and Dr. Rangarajan is my guide, and under him I completed my PhD successfully. And now I'm conferred as Dr. R. Padmaja, but I'll be very happy to call even Padmaja Veeraraghavan. Is also my husband's name included to it. So degree does not have any meaning, but I'm very happy that that as a home maker, I was also successful to some extent.
Okay, wonderful. Actually, in your own home, I think you have all kinds of professions. You have engineers, you have advocates, and you yourself are a commerce professional. You are a professor. So I think in your house itself you have different professions. I should probably interview each one of you in turns because my show is all about bringing forward people from different professions so that the youth are able to understand what are the different professions that are available. So that is very good. Now, normally, Dr. Padmaja, I think once a woman gets married, we normally think that it is a full stop to her career, actually, to her studies, to her career in most aspects. But for your story seems to be something different. So, what kind of support did you get from your family to pursue your higher studies, and how did you achieve it?
Thank you. As I said that actually my parents were very concerned with the education side, and they actually helped me to such an extent that I could complete my PhD. And I'm also blessed to have my husband who really supported me in all my endeavors. So I have to express my thanks to him in this meeting also. So without him, I'm nothing. I'm ready to accept that. And I think this is the freedom a woman has to get after marriage. I was blessed through my husband, and I have to also thank my parents who really supported me both mentally and financially also in some circumstances. And then now the success story has started for me.
Great. That's really amazing, I should say. Now, you did commerce, you did your post graduation also in commerce, post, after which you probably went into to do your PhD and MPhil. So, normally, a person who does something like takes up something like commerce goes into the corporate field. There are ample opportunities otherwise. So why did you choose a teaching profession? What exactly made you choose?
Yeah, it's a very nice question which always I feel even I would have explained to my students also why I've taken this profession. Actually, I had a passion for teaching. I don't know why I got this passion and from where I don't know to explain. And I was so particular that I'll enter into colleges and see the youth. And that was the only reason why my entire, that is my education started only for this profession. So as you say, as commerce, if I had to go to some other profession, then I should have taken, I should have sure, and I would have surely taken CA or CSA or corporate secretarieship, company secretarieship, and I would have actually planned in such a way also. But since teaching is my passion, I thought this is the only way I can satisfy my soul. So this is my sole passion. That's why I like to take this profession. I wish to say as a teacher also that if you understand what is your passion, then you can be successful in whichever job you are going to enter into. So never go to a job which you don't like. Go to a job where you have a passion. I'm sure you can be successful if you are an married woman, you're an young girl or whatever it is. Our success will follow us.
Wonderful. Actually, this is the main reason why my show has come into being. In fact, you're actually telling whatever I have been always saying, and that is very, really great. Passion makes you work wonders. Very true. Now, normally, when you go to a work, Dr. Patmaja, what happens is there is a lot of discrimination, especially when you have to compete with your counterparts who are men, male counterparts. People tend to give more opportunities to the men than to women. Did you ever face anything like that?
One has. So actually, to be very frank, in my early ages of my job, I was working in an institution where it was in co-ed. So in co-ed, we have both types of working men and women. So actually, whenever a work is given, the first preference will be given for men compared to women because they feel that they are free from the family. Maybe that was one of the reasons we were young girls when we joined Jaya College of Arts and Science at Chennai. So every time, though we come forward and we have the talent also, the only reason is we had families and we had to get permission from our husbands to go to anywhere. Our parents, as such, if we are unmarried, so there was a hurdle always. Maybe after a certain number of years, everybody will come to know about her. the family knows about her and they will give her the freedom. So every working woman, as a young girl, when you enter into a job, you have to face this hurdle from the family, male members of the family. That is the first thing. Then after facing the problem with the male members of the family, the next hurdle with your colleagues, male colleagues. So actually working with our colleagues, though they are of in the opposite gender, also it is not a problem at all when our attitude is so friendly towards them. So we have to create such an atmosphere where we will be easily exchanging our views, though it is a men or women. So there should not be any setback as to because you are men, I am going to tell this, or because you are women, we are going to tell this. So the women or the young has to come forward to show their talent without any hesitant. And if nowadays, take my word, nowadays the discrimination between the men and women has drastically come down. If you are a man or a woman with a talent, with an knowledge or with an ability, you are recognized anywhere. Actually,
That's true. That's now. Do you feel that there are certain professions which are specifically made for women, or do you feel that women can actually take up any kind of profession and be successful?
yeah, to my experience, since I'm also working in the educational institution, I'm seeing different types of young girls getting into different types of profession. So my view is that there is no such profession where a woman cannot enter into. There are lots of case studies or stories which tells you women, when we feel we cannot take the job, but we can see women taking such types of passions and they are very successful in their work. So I never put a setback telling that no, women cannot do this work. I always stand for the side of the women and tell that all women can do any type of job. But the request is that the family support is very very important for them in taking their work, whether it is an difficult work or whether it is an easy work.
True, true. Very well said. Actually, now since you said family support is very important, what kind of challenges did you face in your early days? And how did you overcome those challenges and become successful?
Yeah. So I can just pinpoint one or two challenges which an working woman always faces. So as a young girl, when I was under my parents, I didn't have any such challenge at all. So my work was very simple. My mother used to cook and I used to go to the job, and that was a very very leisure time. Every woman in their lifetime would have. But after we get married, we have the responsibility of the household chores, etc. Cooking will become one of the important tasks for the women. And even till today, if we are an general manager of an organization also, I feel women will be cooking at home. So that is the greatest credit which the God has given to women in India. So accordingly, I feel that the challenge which I faced as a young girl was cooking challenge. That everybody will have that challenge because mothers are pampering us in such a way that we don't take any task to ourselves. So once the cooking, maybe in 1 year or 2 years, I think you will be the best in your cooking. That's not a problem. Motherhood will become a very big challenge for every working woman. So working women has to spare their time both for the household chores and the organization. And the child will be the person where we will actually spend less time, because if we are not in a joint family and we are in a nuclear family, the child is the cursed one. I'm sorry to use the word cursed because the child will not be the mother cannot extend to such an extent to as a working woman to the child because of the multiplicity of tasks, one pressure from care of the house and so on, and other pressure from the organization to complete the works. So I always feel that working women's greatest challenge is to manage their time in such a way that they particularly spend a time towards their children. So children will be the most losers for a working woman. But after some time, the children, after they grow, maybe after 10 years and so, they will understand what is the difficulty a mother is facing, and they will surely help the mother in all the activities which we are going to endeavor with. So these are the basic two challenges which always leave about the challenges in the organization, the work we have to do, or whatever it is that is different. But as a women, the greatest challenge which every woman will be facing and is facing as a working woman is only the motherhood.
True. But I also understand you presented a paper on effectiveness of work-life balance of women employees. So that was very interesting. So, do you think there is a work-life balance at all for women? Is it possible for women to have the best of both?
Yes, actually, I during my PhD period, why I selected the stress management was just because for the working women only. Actually, my PhD thesis was related to a comparative study of private women employees and the public women employees, and what are the different causes of stress and what are the various reasons, causes, what are the management support, what are the coping strategies which can be given either by the management or by the individual. Actually, I started to understand how are we going to balance the work and the home without stress. So this gave me a very beautiful idea that women can manage the work and life. We call it as life is the family and work is the organization. So they can manage it. And here again, I have given in my paper telling that the organization has to give some supportive strategies to the working women. For example, if the lactating women, you have to give certain permissions and so on. If you are in in your pregnancy time, and there should be some soft corner for women during such periods. And in case the child is very young, maybe up to 5 years, certain freedom. I don't say it's complete freedom. Some flexibility can be given in the organization. So through this paper also I have given various suggestions to the organization telling that organizations has to create flexible strategies in order to enable the women to expose their talents in the organization with supporting their family also. Then during this study also I also understood that women also have another important task of taking care of their taking their mother-in-law, father-in-law who are aged. So this also becomes another important challenge for a woman. I don't plainly say that men are not helping or men are not supporting. But compared to one whose involvement or whose requirement is more is women than men. So in such situations, I always do in my paper suggesting that certain flexible hours, flexible timings must be given even for men also. I think recently even men are getting holidays for the childbirth and etc. There are some governments are taking certain different ways in which helping the family so that there will be balance both in the work and the family. And in case of work-life balance, we need not talk about the financial benefits which a woman or a man is getting. It regards to the various facilities provided by the organization which supports the men or women, working men or women in taking care of their family as such.
True. That aspect has to be taken care of. Otherwise, I think you won't have quality productivity, I think, isn't it? Because your mind is not there at your workplace. True. Okay. Now you are directly dealing with the youngsters today, the youth. You are a professor. You are probably seeing them every day. You have a major role in shaping them up. So, what do you think about the present day youngsters?
So, the present day youngsters, they are actually technology minded. So, those days when we were studying, if I'm correct, we didn't have any technology other than a television. So, our exposure to technology was very less. So, when I was doing my third year BCom only, I was exposed to a computer. So, in such a situation, a child, even immediately after the birth, they are only seeing cell phones through their mothers. We have to actually, as a professor, as a teacher, I feel we have to actually ask them to use the technology in a better sense. And here, the role of a mother is very important. So, as parents, what we do is, since a child is pestering for a cell phone or a laptop, it is the duty of the parents to purchase. So, purchasing is not, it does not stop with it. So, it is the duty of every mother, every father, especially for our girl kids. We have to be careful enough to understand their emotions. So once we don't show our lovableness to our child, what happens is they depend on more on technology. They feel that technology is giving them more love than the parents. So I think if there is a negative part of the technology or the cell phone, it is only because of the parents. If anybody viewing this also feels that, but I can openly take the statement telling that parents has to play their maximum role in motivating the children to use the laptops or to use the cell phones in a better way. But I have seen certain families where children use the laptops and cell phones for better. Similarly, we can see families where it has been not properly used. So I also request, since I got a chance, I request the parents to take care of this. And this is the first thing which I wanted to tell you. And the next thing which I wanted to tell about for the youth, that is our women youth, is that dressing is very, very important. So I take this opportunity to tell them that you have to be dressed in a beautiful manner where you don't expose. So the words are very simple. I think it is understandable, and I don't want to give any more explanation about this. So these were the two things which I wanted to express. And with regard to education for youth, there is no level. So the children has to be educated. They have to reach their complete passion. So we should not stress them to a particular degree. Better to allow them to choose their degree, and we have to give them 100% support. So in case of education, the women children must be given the full freedom to select and then to individual. So these are the three concepts which I wish to express in case of women children.
Mother, great, great. I think you also gave that liberty to your daughter. I think she has done a very
Yeah, sure. Because I cannot tell such words here without giving liberty to my daughter.
great, great, great. Now, since you are directly again involved with education and the education system, I would like to ask you if the present education system is actually helping the youngsters to find a job. Is it career-oriented education that we are giving to the youngsters, or is there anything else that the youngsters would need to be suitable for the job market?
So this is a very nice question which actually our college is also involved with. Actually, previously we can call our education as the teacher-centric education. Whatever teacher tells, the student has to listen. But nowadays it is student-centric education. So we also call it as a learner-centric. So here, whatever the students ask for, whatever the job-oriented skills we have to supposed to give, that is the need of the day. It is every institution, whether it is an university, deemed university, or it is an autonomous college or an affiliated college, all have entered into this new environment. Everybody has got the compulsion to revamp the education in such a way that the education is going to give only an employable job. If the outcomes are not for employment, that means the education is not proper in any institution or in any state as a whole.
So when I was going through your profile and I saw that you also had presented a paper on time management as a tool for success. So what would you like to tell about that for the youngsters especially? I think because they are the ones who always say that they don't have time for anything.
So actually nowadays it has become one of the important part of our curriculum itself. So actually this is very, very important planning process for every student. We have to have preferences. So we cannot haphazardly take up any work and do at any time. So we have to have a preference of a job to a particular time. So these preferences in taking up a particular task will surely help us to manage them in a better way, and the output will be very nice. So we have to define our activities. Whatever is needed for after 10 days, we did not work out for today. So today what is essential or immediate what is essential we have to plan. In such a way we are going to plan our tasks. I think we can be surely successful either as a student as a human.
Very well said. Very well said. Okay, maybe that's the reason you are also so successful. You could do so many things because you're managing your time well. Before we wind up, I think that we are almost towards the end. One last word of maybe a message that you would like to give to the youth.
The message which I wish to give to the youth is develop faith. Develop faith in the nature. Develop faith in whatever deity you pray for. So actually, I feel nowadays faith actually is reducing. So I thought this is a juncture where I can request every soul on this earth, have faith in your deity.
Thank you, Dr. Padmaja, for being on the show. It was really great to have you on the show, and I'm sure a lot of youngsters and parents also would have got a lot of motivation after seeing this show, after meeting you, after listening to you. And I hope they really love the show.
Thank you, Vanana.
So that was Dr. Padmaja for all of you, a very inspiring lady, a person who has walked her talk, who has shown results, who has come out of all the challenges and has been very successful today. So her words should be a strong source of motivation for all our viewers. Hoping that I sign off for now. If you did like the video, please do hit the like button, share the video as much as possible, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe and stay tuned to meet yet another guest. Bye bye and see you soon.